This is the world of Palworld, a place inhabited by creatures named pals. My goal is to conquer this land and 100% the game. Come along on this journey and enjoy the wonders of Palworld. Just like any other game, we must start off by gathering resources. I immediately start gathering the sticks and rocks around me to make a primitive workstation. But first, I level up one of my stats. I choose to boost my attack stat. Boosting my attack stat will help me catch pals more efficiently. In this game, you must do a certain amount of damage to a pal in order to catch it. The faster I can lower a pal's health bar, the better. I also collect red berries, as both berries and the seeds will be important to feed my future pals in my future base. I do find a pal sphere, which I immediately waste because I fat-fingered Q. I do like the fact that you can find pal spheres on the ground. It does help me when I do waste some pal spheres in the future. My goal for my first base was to make it as basic as possible. I wanted this base to be for farming materials to make crafting recipes a little easier. For the location of my base, I didn't want it to be right in the starting area, so I do travel a little, but not too far to build this base. After talking to this NPC, I unlock this fast travel point. This area is where I decide to make my first base. Looking back at it, I wish I didn't make my place here. I wish I made it farther out, as when you place a base, it gives you a waypoint, but I don't plan on making this base permanent. I do plan on moving it somewhere else. I did find another pal sphere on the ground, so I used it to catch this chickpea. This probably wasn't the best first catch of the game, as a lamball would have been more useful for the base, but I am 100%ing this game, so I will catch more pals in the future. I do really enjoy that the devs added more NPCs to this game. Before, it felt that the game felt empty, but after this addition, the game feels more full of life in a way. I find a Liftmonk effigy, which is very important because in the future, these effigies will help boost my capture rates. This will help me catch higher level pals with ease. I also place my primitive workbench and start working on my beginner missions. The frozen egg that I find will be very important in the future. After building my primitive workbench, I begin making my basic tools. This includes a stone axe and a stone pickaxe. I also unlock the ability to make pal spheres, a pal box, campfires, wooden structures, and wooden chests. On technology level 3, I unlock the ability to make straw pal beds, a shoddy bed for myself, old bows and arrows, and cloth. I then move on to collect resources by cutting down trees and mining rocks near me. I use the wood I collect to build a chest, as my inventory was getting very full very fast. I noticed my mission was telling me to collect palladium fragments. Palladium fragments are used to build pal spheres. These fragments can be found by mining these small blue accented rocks or on the ground while exploring the world. After collecting a good amount of palladium fragments, I make 6 pal spheres. After that, I find out that I don't have enough resources to make a pal box, so I decide to mine more rocks. I finally have enough resources to place this pal box. I struggle where exactly I want this pal box to go, and I do think I placed it a little too close to the river, but it all works out as the range for a pal box is decently sized and gives me a lot of space to work with. After placing my pal box, I build a straw pal bed. Of course, I need to have a pal at my base so I can use this pal bed, but the only pal that I have is the chickpea. And that pal is only really useful if I had a ranch, which I do not have unlocked yet. This means that I have to go out and catch more pals. I also build a feed box. A feed box is used to feed the pals that I will have working at my base. When I start building farms, my pals can put the food produced in the farms into the feed box. That will make it so their food is infinite, as long as I have enough farms to feed all of the pals. The next thing I do is find pals to catch. The first pals that I catch are 2 cremis. As you see, I am able to attempt to capture one of them, but not the other. This is because if you are able to sneak up on a pal, the game gives you a bonus for sneaking up on the pal. I was given a 30% chance to catch the first cremis. With the second one, I gave it time to turn it around. Once I got close to the cremis, it immediately wanted to attack me. As I attack the cremis, I am given a higher chance to catch it. The lower the health bar, the higher the chance I'm able to catch this pal. After catching both of these pals, I catch 2 cativas. One annoying thing about this game is that some pals will run away from you when you are too close. In the early game, bows are the best way to counter this. Once pals are attacked, they stop running away and instead attack the player. Once they are too close in distance, the player is able to whittle the pal's health down until they are able to catch the pal. Cativas are a very good early game pal as they are able to do multiple different things for the base. They are able to assist in crafting, transporting, gathering, and mining. Mining is a very important ability to have, especially in the early game. Many early game crafting recipes require stone and paldium fragments, so it is always nice to have those resources on hand. Cativas are also able to transport those resources to chests instead of leaving them on the ground for the player to pick up. It is very easy to pick up too many items in the early game. If your character picks up too many items, your character gets slowed down. It can be pretty annoying when you're trying to maneuver around your base and suddenly you weigh over 300 pounds. Of course, you can upgrade this, but it's not very important in the early game. I feel that it is very important to catch pals that can have multiple different jobs. It's a waste of a slot when a pal can only perform one task. For example, this Gumas can only plant things. While building farms and maintaining them is crucial in the early game, it is always better to find pals that are able to do multiple different things instead of just one thing. The first pal that I put in my base is a Cativa, and it immediately gets to work breaking rocks within the base's radius. The next thing that I work on is making cloth for a cloth outfit. My Cativa assists me in making this. When a pal assists a person with crafting, it speeds up the craft time. I also unlock a berry plantation. This is very important as I can now feed myself and my pals more reliably. When it comes to the plantation, I need to have multiple pals to automate it. I need pals that have the abilities in planting, watering, and gathering. To my knowledge, there are no pals that can do all 3 of these things. If I am incorrect, please tell me in the comments what pals can do all 3. Not to mention, I need a pal that has the ability to transport the berries to a chest. That means I need to pick multiple pals to take care of this farm. Now that I have completed the necessary tasks to complete my Palbox, I am able to put one more pal to work. I choose to put another Cativa in my base as they are the best option for me in the early game. Upgrading a Palbox when you first build one is very simple in the beginning, but it slowly gets more challenging as you upgrade it more. As you can see, my character is cold. I choose to ignore this as it's not that dangerous right now, but in the future it is crucial to keep your character in a neutral state, especially as you travel around the map. You can slowly start to take damage if your character is too cold or too hot. Despite my character being cold, I choose to build more Palbeds. The reason why I am doing this is because if a pal does not have a bed, it will start to get stressed. When a pal is stressed, they will refuse to do work. After sleeping through the night, I build a chest for my pals to start putting rocks, paldium fragments, and ore into. When it comes to chests, you have to make it so pals can only put certain items into certain chests, or they will disperse your items all over your base. The way to prevent this is to go into your chest settings and set the type of item that you want your pals to put into that chest. Now, you will have to make it so your other chests cannot have that certain item in it, or your pals will put random stuff into your other chests. As you can see, my Cativas are not transporting these stones or paldium fragments away to their proper place. This will not be an issue later on when I have more pals, but it is pretty annoying to have to clean up after your pals. I start to make a small shack, as one of my quests for the Palbox is to make a shoddy bed. Shoddy beds can only be placed inside an enclosed space. I will not use this shack for anything else other than to sleep in. The next thing that I make is a cloth outfit. This helps me move on in my starter mission. I build a repair station and a berry plantation, with the assistance of my cativas. With the addition of my new berry plantation, I need to catch more pals, as my goal is to automate this as soon as possible. Before I do any of that, however, I want to move on in my beginner missions, which means I have to catch 5 land balls. Back at my base, I build a statue of power. This is where I can use the lift monk effigies that I find to upgrade my catch chance. I can also upgrade my pals here. I decided to catch this pangolin, as it is the closest pal for me to catch that has the ability to water my plantation. Now my plantation should be fully automated, as I also put a gumas that I caught to work. The next thing that I build is this stone pit. It will be very useful in automating stone, as stone is an incredibly important resource to have. I also build a pal gear station. This is where I can make saddles and guns for the pals. This will be extremely important in the future so that I can traverse the world easier. I make an old bow for myself to make it easier for me to catch pals. I don't understand why it's called an old bow when I just crafted it, but I find it funny that it's called that. I also build another berry plantation to make the production of food faster. Jumping ahead after exploring for a while and catching some more pals, I build a crusher. This can help me make more palladium fragments through stone that I have collected. I think that the hardest thing to do in the early game is to automate things. The game is fast in some aspects, but you also need to wait for things to be produced, and you also need to collect a lot of things by hand, which can be tedious. That is why I'm trying to automate everything as fast as possible, so that when I'm exploring, my pals are collecting resources for me. I also build a logging site. Before building this, I was constantly cutting down trees because I was running out of wood so fast. While I don't have many pals to use this site, it will be useful to have. After making some arrows, I head out to explore. The first thing that I find is this village. This is completely new to me, and I find it a very welcome addition to the game. This makes the game feel more alive in a sense. I do also like that I'm given side missions from the NPCs that live in this village. It's definitely going to give me a challenge for 100%ing this game. After exploring the village, I find out that I am unable to complete any of the missions that they gave me at this time, so I head back to my base. I immediately build a hot spring for my pals so they have a place to relax. This will help their stress levels stay low and keep them working. The next thing that I build is a primitive furnace. This will turn my ore into ingots and will be useful for future recipes. I also upgrade my catch rate as I hadn't done so. It will slip my mind a lot in the future. I go exploring after this and find the Syndicate Area with a locked up pal in the center. Once you defeat these thugs, you can unlock the cages and obtain the pal locked inside without having to fight it. This is a very easy way to obtain pals, it's just not very common to find this kind of thing. The pal that I rescued is called a floppy. This was honestly a very good find that has many different job capabilities that I can use. Now we get to the first boss fight of the game, Chillet. Let's see how this fight goes. Defeat. My first death in the game, and it was from Chillet. Honestly, I was not prepared at all for this fight, and I let my pal do most of the work for me. Now I have to make the sad trip back to get my stuff. After that embarrassing defeat, and the even more embarrassing trip to get my items, I come back stronger and more determined to take out this Chillet. Before my first fight, I wanted to befriend this Chillet, but now I'm gonna take it down for good. But first, I teleport back to the Syndicate base and help release another poor trapped soul. How could I not after seeing the sad faces we had? Finally, I find my foe, the Chillet who had killed me only moments before, walking in front of me, not knowing I was lurking behind it. I actually did it. I actually killed the Chillet boss. I start to question if this was the right idea. Should I have befriended it? Was this the right thing to do? I need to snap out of this. There are other bosses that need to be taken care of. I returned home to check on the egg that was incubating. Little did I know, the Chillet I had just defeated came back to join my team. After hatching my Chillet, I decided it's time to face my first tower boss, Zoe and Grisbolt. I was nervous, but I knew I was strong enough to take them head on. After that long battle, I finally take Zoe and her Griswold out. I go exploring after and I find another Syndicate base, with a trapped pal inside. Of course, I take out all the Syndicates and help out this pal. I wonder why these Syndicates are trapping pals like this. The last thing that I do in this episode is defeat a few human bosses that are around the map. They are pretty easy to defeat, but they give some useful items. If you've enjoyed this episode, please leave a like and a comment down below. If you'd like any pals named after you, or if you have any base ideas, let me know in the comments. I love hearing from you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.